Greetings and welcome to our daily walk through Scripture for January the 23rd. Today your readings were in Genesis 46 and 47, Matthew chapter 15 up through verse 28, and Psalm 19, 1 through 14. You know, it would be really great if Christianity was way more convenient for what I want. It would be, right? I mean, I think we've probably all thought this at times, that it would be really great if we could actually just pick and choose the parts of the Bible that we want to hear or the parts that we want to use to denounce. That's kind of a basic tenet of arguments, if you will. When you're in a debate with someone, you're going to pick the parts that are going to carry your debate forward while minimizing the other person's debate. This is a tactic that's used a lot by people that think the Bible is just a bunch of gobbledygook, because they will pick and choose certain verses out of it. I recall there was a show years ago called The West Wing, and they wanted to portray a certain religious character as a bigot, and so they had her quoting Old Testament verses. And then they had the president, played by Martin Sheen, come in, and he also quoted Bible verses and showed yeah. Well, in watching that episode, I was like, man, these guys are both just terrible. They're both misquoting, and it basically came that the writers didn't actually understand what they were doing. They were picking and choosing that fit their own narrative. We talked about that yesterday with the Pharisees and them picking and choosing the narrative that best fit with what they wanted to carry out with the idea of the Sabbath. And Jesus carries this idea in Matthew chapter 15, when yet again Matthew shares an accounting of they come up to Jesus and they say, "Why do your disciples break this tradition and they don't wash their hands before they eat?" I mean, yes, as a parent, I make my kids wash their hands so they don't get germy. But that's germ, G-E-R, not J-E-R-A-M-Y. Germy, not Jeremy. I don't want them to get germs on their hands. And they're like, "Why don't you let them ceremonially wash their hands to show that they're clean?" And Jesus goes, well, they're breaking commands, but what about the commands that you're breaking when you pick and choose the ones? And you pick and choose ones that says, honor your father and mother. And so then he calls out the Pharisees that they are turning all their belongings to God so that they don't have to honor their father and mother and help. What a terrible thing. And the fact that Jesus points it out shows that it must have been quite a little bit of an epidemic that was happening, where these Pharisees and religious leaders would come and they would say, nope, everything that I have now belongs to God, so I don't have to help my mother and father because it's all God's, not mine. I can't help you with it. I'm sorry. And Jesus quotes Isaiah and he says, "This people honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. In vain do they worship me, in teaching as doctrines the commandments of men." This is really kind of hits the nail on the head as to one of our struggles in our world today. Is we really do like to pick and choose the scriptures. Let me give you another example. I've used this one in years past. It's the value of human life. If we really value human life, and we do the pro-life argument and with regards to abortion and going against it, if we value human life, shouldn't we value human life all throughout? And yet, I think there are times when we pick and choose whether we decide that a life is truly valuable or not. We do this with other things as well. For example, we'll look at sin and go, murder is bad. Murder is totally bad. Or we'll look at someone and go, homosexuality is totally bad. And then we'll look at someone who is gluttonous and we'll say, live and let live. We don't get to pick and choose the parts of the Bible that we like and we don't like. Jesus says it this way. It's like whatever comes out of your heart, that is a reflection of what you really believe. And if you're going to truly follow me, then what comes out needs to reflect the entire thing. He unpacks it when the disciples were a little confused when he says, "Do you not see," this is in verse 17, "do you not see that whatever goes into the mouth passes into the stomach and is expelled?" That means it poops out. "But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart. For this defiles a person, for out of the heart comes evil thoughts." We've talked about the dangers of the heart quite a bit. Murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, faultlessness, slander. These are what defile a person. But to eat with unwashed hands does not defile anyone. In other words, Jesus is saying, don't pick and choose. Don't pick the things that are convenient for you and ignore the things that you don't like. Follow me. Take up your cross and follow me. This is the mandate that Jesus has been given. We've seen several instances in Matthew where Jesus will tell someone, you're still holding on to the things of this world. It's time for you to let go and fully commit yourselves to God. All right, there's your daily walk for today. We'll see you next time.